guys, welcome back to Wasting Time in the Woods. We are out on the trail doing something fun again. We got 2 grandparents double vaccinated, so we dropped those kids off as soon as we could get the gum out of their hair and their seatbelts on. Jill said, let's do something romantic. So I thought, let's drive to the Mexican border, spend the night in a ghost town, and then drive back to Phoenix 250 miles on dirt roads through the desert. We might have different ideas of romance than normal people. Anyways, if that sounds romantic to you, oh hey, Border Patrol. If that sounds romantic to you, jump in the car and let's head to the border and see what these ghost towns, dirt roads, and bandits are all about. Let's go. We hadn't been without the kids in 9 months, which is probably why we just kept driving until we ended up in Patagonia. Well, Patagonia, Arizona anyway. Grandma doesn't have that much patience. The Patagonia Mountains are a beautiful Sonoran Desert mountain range rising to over 7,000 feet and absolutely pockmarked by abandoned mines and ghost towns, right on the edge of the Arizona-Mexico border. On our way through the mountains, we had a few reminders of exactly how close we were to the border. You think that Border Patrol behind us is going to pull us over and search us for drugs and Mexicans?
He's following us like he is.
Our first stop was a tiny cemetery with graves from the 1800s through the 1960s, and eerily enough, a lot of modern, fake flowers. While we walked around, I got my first clue that this trip might not go exactly as planned. As soon as we stepped foot in the cemetery, the camera gimbal started acting up. I didn't think much of it at the time, but on playback, it sounded super creepy. I think he wants to get out of here. Alright, cool. Sounds like something else wanted us out of there too. Anyway, that's the banshee-like screech you may hear occasionally through the rest of this video. Hey, you ready?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Let's go. From the cemetery, we were only a short drive away from our ghost town. We agreed to keep the name of the town to ourselves out of respect for the residents. Alright guys, well we have arrived at our first destination. We are staying tonight with Jeff and Elena. They own some property right on the edge of one of the ghost towns in the area, which is an old abandoned mining town. And we are actually staying in this cute little cabin that Jill is hanging out at. This is the Bonanza mine office that Jeff and Elena renovated. So, one thing I want to say is that the ghost town that we're going to visit in a few minutes and all of the, abandoned buildings and ghosty town stuff down here in the Patagonia Mountains are all on private property. We contacted the property owner of not only the ghost town that we're going to visit, but also reached out to some of the neighbors, which is how we got to know Jeff and got this amazing experience. So what I'll say is, if you want to go cruise around the ghost towns and go exploring, please be respectful. Talk to the people that live there. Don't just go trouncing around their property. But anyways, like I said, we lucked out. Jeff and Elena have this awesome property right on the edge of the ghost town. So we are going to get a little tour from Jeff and have some fun for the night.
Yeah, this is the Bonanza Mine office, and when we found it 10 years ago, you'll see the pictures up in the main house, but you could walk through the walls. There were 27 bullet holes in the roof, and it was
Sounds like somebody had a
mess.
good time around here.
The mountain, that's San Antonio, and that's in Mexico. So we're roughly 5 miles from the border. We had 5 guys get picked up about right here in front of our place about a year ago. It was like the Keystone Cops. They were running all over, and yeah.
The immigrants were? Or the cops?
Well, and the thing that's crazy is that they weren't using flashlights, and the Border Patrol was. So just think about running through this brush.
Full of mine shafts and cactus and snakes.
Dude, are you kidding me? We flushed a couple guys up the hill one afternoon because we go for a nightly walk, and these guys bounded through the brush. I mean, I want them on my Olympic team. I tell you, they were that kind of good. So, again, I'm not sure what this was. Probably one of the higher-ups in the mining company, but obviously falling down in a hurry. Built out of adobe, which is unusual because the rest of the buildings are out of sawed lumber.
Oh, This is definitely where you come to film a horror movie. Anybody got to use the bathroom? That's a little creepy.
It's incredible. Oh, Sunday.
So, if you look in this building, it's really in very good shape because there was a guy that came here about 20, 25 years ago, and he bought the whole town, and he was going to turn it into a Christian children's camp.
Well, there's nothing creepy about that.
Since then, vandalism, just people coming and taking stuff away, tore the windows out, the doors. This was obviously a stage stop, as well as a post office. It might have been a bit of a haberdashery for, supplies for the miners.
Chef, come on, man. Get to the good stuff. Where's the brothel?
So this was the old boarding house or rooming house. Yes, and it could have possibly been the bordello as well.
Bordello, a gathering place or house for ladies of ill repute.
But I have a hunch that might make it so. So obviously the big front room, with the fireplace, and this was probably the parlor, sitting room. There are 8 rooms, 4 on each side. There are probably 10 by 10 rooms, all the same with a window. The first room to the right is a shower. The reason I think that it could have possibly been a bordello is this fact.
Is that all rat turds?
Bats. They're not bats.
Oh.
They're not here, but anyway. So as you can tell, if you look in there, the closets are co-joined. Now, did that get taken out later? My hunch is if a gal got into trouble, she could bolt through the closet to her sister next door, and maybe there was some refuge or whatever the word is, some safety. But
your thought was a whole lot cleaner than what mine was. I was thinking more of efficiency in business.
So here it is, what's left of it, the old quote-unquote Westinghouse house. Do you want to go inside?
I'd love to.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a little sketch.
The mine and this entire town was actually founded by George Westinghouse. He built this, what must have been one of his small houses around 1890, probably to come supervise his new mining venture. He probably didn't stick around long, though. His electrical company took off in the 1890s, and he ended up in a war to supply the country with electricity against Thomas Edison. He won that war. Unfortunately, just like this house, he lost it all in the end and died a broken man. Dude.
They say that this was the first house in Arizona that had indoor plumbing. Not 100% sure, but maybe. Anyway, this is kind of cool. This was probably the outside kitchen. This might have been the kitchen as well. But what's really cool is that this was the pass-through to the butler's pantry. They had a servant or some sort of help that served the food.
It also looks like somebody got murdered in here at one point.
Through to the dining room.
Oh, I had electricity too, I see.
Yes, they did.
I guess that makes sense for Westinghouse. Or would if...
See, and this is just fallen down just in the last month.
Yeah.
Fireplace. This is probably where they dined. And then obviously the main living room in here with this big river rock fireplace.
This looks modern.
Could have been retrofitted, 40s, 50s, 30s, I don't know.
Do you know how long this place was occupied?
I think it was lived in up until probably the 50s. Yeah, she was a grand gal, man, for sure.
So beautiful.
I think it's just peeling off there.
Yeah, it's all coming down.
She's not gonna last that much longer.
Not in this shape. If you listen, hear the water. So it filled in. Obviously, that's what, stopped probably the mining operation. Maybe it played out and they mined all they could.
What's it look like from down there? Could I scramble down there?
Let me take a picture of you busting your was going to be a romantic evening.
It was. Thanks, Jeff.
I think that is what they were after. Oh, it's so cold. The air coming out of here.
How far down is the water?
I don't want to go too much closer because there's a drop off over here. It's a little dicey. But the GoPro is waterproof, so if I die, pull out the GoPro, please. 20 feet, if that. It's a shallow pool right here. I can see the bottom of it. But that could just be a little shelf, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it looks like a wishing well, man. It smells like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, good. You made it.
We had a great time exploring, but it was getting late, so we headed back to Jeff's place to settle in for the night. The next morning, we were up early to watch the sunrise over the San Rafael Valley. Our plan was to drive down to the Mexican border and then start driving back north through the valley and then into the desert and onto Phoenix. Alright guys, well we had a pretty amazing night last night. We got to hang out with Jeff and Elena in the old reclaimed machine shop that they've turned into their house. They told us all about their travels through Africa and shared some wine with us. They lived in Botswana for about 20 years. So they had some really amazing stories, and we heard more stories about the area. And then Paul and his girlfriend Holly rolled in late last night and joined us, drank some more wine, and went to bed late and got up and caught the sunrise. So it's been good so far. Hopefully today's just as good. Let's keep it up. Come on, let's go. Hey buddy, did you guys have any trouble finding the place last night?
Hair and makeup yet.
Well, I gotta establish you.
The address worked, GPS worked, everything worked, which is nice for a change.
Yeah, dogs seem to be enjoying themselves.
Oh, they're gonna be exhausted by noon. It's gonna
Good.
be perfect. Let them freaking do it.
Working on breakfast?
Yeah.
What are we having?
Sausage links and some fried eggs and 1 cup of yogurt.
Nice. Got a little hodgepodge this morning, huh?
Yeah.
Whatever was on top of the ice chest. While we ate, Jill and I brought Paul and Holly up to speed on the brothel, the bat guano, and the murder room. We had a lot of ground to cover to get back to Phoenix, so we aired down, said our goodbyes, and hit the trail. Bye, thank you.
Anytime, come back.
Yeah, that was pretty rad.
That was the best ever.
Jeff gave us an escort to the border, stopping on our way to point out that some of the new residents of the area would prefer that the mines stay part of the area's history, rather than its future. Well, we have like 250 miles of dirt roads. No, like 180 miles? I don't know, something. Guess I should have checked that before I did the gas calculations. I got my spark plugs changed. That means we'll use less gas, right? You'd think doing a bunch of maintenance at Toyota just before a long trip through the desert would be a good idea. You know, so something like this doesn't happen. We got a check engine light on.
Does your truck have a limp mode?
I don't know if I should turn it off or just limp back. I guess this is the end of the road for us. Alright, let's not be so dramatic, Jake. We still had a lot of scenery to get through before we'd start playing hard to get with AAA. On our way out of the valley, we stopped for a minute to take a look at the beautiful and historic San Rafael Ranch, where Oklahoma, McClintock, and about a dozen other famous westerns were filmed.
Don't say it's a fine morning or I'll shoot you.
What do you think of the San Rafael Valley?
Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful.
It really was. We crossed the valley and climbed up into the foothills just before hitting the pavement for fuel.
6 or 7 miles, so probably 20 miles.
I'm not worried about you.
I don't know, we'll find out. If I ruin all 4 tires, fine.
Yeah, right. Alright guys, well we are in Sonoita. We have stopped to get a little bit of gas to top off, and we had about 10 miles of pavement, and then we're gonna hit the dirt again. I think we got about another 10 or 20 miles of dirt, and then we got like 20 miles of pavement, and then we got a whole bunch more dirt. So, here's the dirt, and Harleys. Lots of Harleys here today. We had another short stretch of pavement between fuel and our next track through the Las Ciénegas National Conservation Area. I have no idea what that is, but the antelope and cows seem to like it.
We went the wrong way, so
We're turning it around. This is not uncommon. How much, Jelly Bean?
Chicken salad sandwiches. Jake puts curry in them and they're delicious.
Free kid
A couple beers. Looks great. This is bad. You can just pop the whole kitchen out.
It's so cool that you just pull that out.
You just stop and the kitchen and the fridge come out.
that's it, done.
While we sat there enjoying our lunch, the gimbal started acting up again. We're between Sonoita and Benson, and it's just creepy in here. We were on a nature preserve, and then we got into this old river valley that the river hasn't been here in years. It's changed course, obviously, or just dried up altogether. And it's all dead cottonwood trees, just completely, it's like a cottonwood cemetery in here.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
I was starting to think that this might become our cemetery if we didn't get out of there soon. So, naturally, that's when it happened. Well, we got a check engine light on. We got a bunch of truck maintenance done this week. And it's doing exactly what it did when I left the Toyota place, which is revving and not allowing me to go past 2,500 RPMs.
What's wrong?
Check engine light, Orlo's flashing, can't get it past 2,500 RPMs. Just lost that power all at once.
Does your truck have a limp mode?
Yep, that's what it's in. I don't know if I should turn it off or just limp back.
Orlo's flashing. Have you, what gear
It's not
were you in?
Orlo. The guy at Toyota told me, because that was my thing. I was like, because I got a full drive service at the same time. And he said that Orlo always flashes when the check engine light's on, because it's telling you I'm not going to let you put it in Orlo.
Yeah, no, so we'll follow you back to civilization.
You want to follow us back to the pavement and then get back on the trail?
Yeah, we'll follow you to wherever you gotta get to, and then we'll decide what we're gonna do from there.
Sorry.
Hey, nothing you can do about it.
Well, this sucks.
Yeah.
So much for overlanding.
Yeah.
It just turned out to be an overnighter. If there's a big hill, I'm not gonna be able to get up it. First gear, flooring it. We've got like 30 miles to cover at 3 miles an hour. How long do you think it'll take us to get out of here? Alright, well, we're at Empire Ranch, which is somewhere in the middle of nowhere between, I guess, Sonoita and Benson, which is like 50 miles south of Tucson. We're pretty much in the middle of nowhere. I had a bunch of maintenance done at Toyota this week, and it did that right after I pulled it out of the shop, so I'm pretty sure that is where the culprit lies. But just kind of goes to show you, in the backcountry, it's probably better to have 2 people, 2 vehicles. Mine still runs, it's just limping along. 3 miles an hour on the uphills. So, fun.
Tow for the 2010 Lexus?
Yep.
Okay, and how can I help you today?
We just want to cancel it. The check engine light's still on, but it's running fine now, so we're going to try and drive home to Phoenix.
Okay, I will go ahead and cancel this on our end.
All right, we'll call you back in an hour. Our Mexican border ghost town adventure got cut a little short. I guess this is the end of the road for us. We're not in limp mode anymore. I restarted the car and got my power back, which is good to know if that situation happens again. But I'm still in check engine light mode, which means I can't use 4 low. So if I can't use 4 low, I probably shouldn't be in the bush. Yeah. Well, we had one great night. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys had a little fun in the ghost town. But we'll come back and finish this trip later. And hopefully not have any check engine issues.